What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for being here at my YouTube channel with me, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. That includes movies and video games and comic books and TV shows. If it's nerdy, then we probably talk about it here. Right now, I'm going to give my review on Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I'll be honest, I've been looking forward to this movie for a long time. Ever since, it's probably been 13, 14, 15 months ago when we saw the first image of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn in this movie that I thought we might be onto something good. And then we saw some of the trailers, and quite frankly, the trailers weren't all that good. I thought that some of the costume design and all that, I thought a lot of that was really good. But then the trailers came, and I just wasn't so sure. But I'm happy to report that I really liked this movie a lot. I really liked it a lot. I'm actually surprised at how much I like this movie. A friend of mine asked me about it this morning because I saw it last night. And a friend of mine asked me about it this morning, and he says, LQ, how would you describe it? And I said, John Wick, the John Wick franchise met and fell in love with the Quentin Tarantino brand. They had a baby. So John Wick franchise, the Tarantino brand, they had a baby. And then they raised that baby to be a comic book nerd. That's how I would describe this movie. Some Tarantino, some Wick with a heavy dosage of comic book fandom in it. And it turned into a really fun movie. Just a really fun, really funny, action-packed extravaganza for the eyes. Just being real here. So let's talk about some of the performances. Margot Robbie owns the Harley Quinn role. She is Harley Quinn. I really love Kaylee Cuoco as Harley Quinn in the animated series. Tara Strong obviously did what she did to help create Harley Quinn. But Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. She's phenomenal as the figure, and she understands the character. She understands the character, what makes Harley Quinn tick, and I just absolutely love her performance in this, just like I loved her performance in Suicide Squad. Speaking of Suicide Squad, this is a direct sequel to Suicide Squad. It is. They have several references to Suicide Squad. There isn't any cameos, but there's several Easter eggs for the Suicide Squad movie, and there's some flashback footage that is used from Suicide Squad, and there's a point where Harley Quinn is monologuing, and she refers to events from Suicide Squad. So it's clearly a sequel to Suicide Squad. They exist in the same world. That's undeniable now. Which we know that Suicide Squad also exists in the same world as Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel. So we still have our interconnected universe happening. We know that Justice League was in the Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel. Wonder Woman was in that world. Shazam was in that world. So, like I said, they still have that interconnected series of movies going. It's just not following one narrative path like the MCU movies did, and that's fine. They don't have to follow the same narrative path like the MCU movies do. They really don't. I don't know why everybody thinks that the DC should do exactly what Marvel's doing. I think that's ridiculous. They absolutely, positively do not have to follow one narrative path. As long as they all exist in the same universe, I'm good. All right, so one of my big surprises was Mary Elizabeth Winstead as the Huntress. Now, I love the Huntress character. I was introduced to the Huntress back in the 90s in a miniseries called Robin 3, The Cry of the Huntress. And I really fell in love with the character in that storyline. And I went back after that and researched the character. And I just really love that version of the character, that version from the 90s. Huntress has seen several different iterations since then. Even looking at the Birds of Prey TV show where she was Batman and Catwoman's daughter. I mean, obviously there's been a lot of different variations on the Huntress, but the Bertinelli crime family, that's the version that I like. Definitely down with this, and I think that out of all the characters in the movie, the Huntress got the shortest end of the stick. She really didn't have much of a presence in the movie until the third act. But when she was on the screen, she was electric, and she was funny, and she was really good at the action, and I love the fact that she had anger problems. I just loved it. I told my wife this morning, I said, it reminded me of you. My wife does not have anger problems. It's just, I was teasing her. Just so we're clear, I was teasing my wife, okay, people? Let's see. Ewan McGregor, dude was hamming it up. But it's not hamming it up in a bad way, like it was over the top campy, like Jim Carrey from Batman Forever, or Tommy Lee Jones from Batman Forever, Arnold Schwarzenegger from Batman and Robin, or Uma Thurman from Batman and Robin, or whoever played Bane from Batman and Robin, or whoever played Commissioner Gordon. Who's that? Pat Hingle from Batman and Robin. Those two movies, goodness gracious, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. It wasn't that kind of campy corniness. It was, he was hamming it up in a way that you could tell he was over the top, but he was grounded in the world that he was in. Definitely grounded in the DCEU world. Over the top, even for the DCEU, but still grounded in it. And I just liked Ewan McGregor in a villainous role. You know, playing the villain who wants to take out our heroes, even though Harley Quinn's supposed to be a villain. Ewan McGregor was great in this. He was great in this, and he was so much fun to watch. So much fun to see him just be that manipulative, evil, bad person. Black Canary, she did fine. Now, Black Canary, who is that? Journey Smollett. She is the one that I like the least. And I feel like that's because some of her fighting felt very choreographed to me. Some of her fighting definitely felt very choreographed and just kind of telegraphed, and not all of it was completely believable. Now, her acting was probably every bit as strong as Margot Robbie's acting, to be honest with you, or Ewan McGregor's acting. She did a very good job when she had to convey emotion, when she had to do, when she had to sell any scene with her acting ability. She did a really good job with that. But as far as her physical abilities, her fighting, it just felt very choreographed, felt very fake. So, and she was the only metahuman in the movie. And I don't know. It felt kind of like a get out of jail free card at the end of the movie when she finally used her power. So she was my least favorite, but that doesn't mean it was bad. I still like the character. It's just very different and very removed from the character that I grew up with in the 80s and 90s. But that's okay. That's okay. Characters evolve and they change. Let's talk about the best part of this movie, and that was the action. Oh my goodness. The action in this movie was phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal. I could tell that there was, I had heard that the person who coordinated the stunts was the same person who worked on John Wick. You can tell because it's very clean, it's very precise, there's no shaky cam. It's just in your face brutality. And yes, there's gore in this movie. There's sounds of bones cracking, crunching, people getting shot in the head, blood splattering. This is a very violent movie, but it had to be because it's Harley Quinn and this is over the top. So I love that component of it. The fact that it was so in your face and so raw. This movie really called for that. But the action, there's a scene where she takes her hammer or baseball bat, one of the two, and she smashes the dude's knee and it bends sideways. And then she flips back around and she hits it again and it bends sideways the other way. And it's just brutal. It just made me go, oh! So the action was great. Comedy was on point also most of the time. I won't say that every joke landed in this movie, but most of the jokes did. Most of the jokes landed, and the jokes really felt kind of Tarantino-esque. At the beginning of this video, I talked about how it felt like it had some Tarantino inspirations in it, and for whatever reason, the comedy just felt very Tarantino-esque to me. I don't know any other way to explain it, and I don't know how to explain why it's Tarantino-esque, but I feel like when you watch it, most people will, even if they don't agree with me, they could look at it and they could be like, okay, I understand how you can say that, because it's just a feeling. It's a gut thing. um, but yeah, this movie was a lot of fun. This movie was a lot of fun. I had so much fun. I had a big stupid grin on my face for most of the movie. Um, let's talk about comic book inspiration. This is definitely inspired by this run of the comics. This is the most recent Harley Quinn, number 70, right? Yeah, number 70. Just came out this week. But it's definitely inspired by this run. And just in its irreverence, it's satiring the superhero genre while being firmly implanted in the superhero world. So it's satire without being removed. And I love that. Some similarities to Deadpool in that fashion. It's satire without being removed. And just a lot of fun. There's a lot of Batman references in this movie, but Batman never shows up. Now, I remember reading at one point, maybe about a year ago, that, well, this Birds of Prey movie takes place in a Gotham where Batman doesn't operate anymore. They never said that. They never said Batman doesn't operate. In fact, I got the strong impression that he still operates there because he's referenced enough times. Joker is referenced a lot. Never see him, but referenced a lot. His presence, even though he's not in the movie, his presence is throughout the movie. And especially when it becomes public knowledge that she's not with Joker anymore and that his protection is gone, that you really start to feel the lack of Joker, if you will. So Joker and Batman are both referenced a lot in this movie. And Batman still seems like he's very much present in Gotham. He's just not present in the movie. I don't know what else to say. It was good. It was a lot of fun. I had a really good time with it, and it's one of my favorite DCU movies now. It really is. It's one of my favorite DCU movies. I'm going to have to watch it a couple more times to really decide where it's at, where it falls in the rankings, but it's a top 3 in the DCU movies for me. Remember, I like all of them. Yes, even Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was a hot mess, but I had fun with it. So I liked all of them. And this is going to be a top 3 for me to be sure, because it was a lot of fun. And it was really well done. And it was more well done than it had any business being. Especially considering the fact that it's called Birds of Prey. and the first 2 acts of the movie is straight up a Harley Quinn movie. The 3rd act of the movie is a Birds of Prey act. So at the end of the movie, the last half hour, 45 minutes, then it's Birds of Prey. The first hour plus, it's just a Harley Quinn movie. But for the people who are worried about it, Harley Quinn never really becomes a member of the Birds of Prey. I mean, this isn't really a spoiler. I guess it could be considered a spoiler, but she, even at the end of the movie, she's not a member of the Birds of Prey. At the end of the movie, the Birds of Prey are operating, and Harley Quinn is not a member. She's over here doing something else. So yeah. I don't know. Good movie. Lots of references to the comics. The beaver is there. The hyena is there. Lots of fun. Love the movie. I give it an A-. But the important thing is, what did you think of Harley Quinn? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your take on it. And thank you so much for being here at the Oki Review, where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.